It was a chilly, windy midwinter evening, with large snowflakes filling the air, causing my best friend, Alexander Lex, and his friends to drive slowly along the lonely Scandinavian county road. We were on our way to my home in a rented Ford Transit van due to the bad weather, and we were later than planned. But I didn't care. This sad day couldn't get any worse. All the lights in my house were off, but as expected, a black BMW, covered by several centimeters of freshly fallen snow, was parked in my driveway. Had I not fixed the lock in my garage, the BMW would have been hidden inside. Lex parked the Ford on the street, ensuring the BMW had a clear way out. "Are you okay?" he asked. "I'm okay," I replied. Lex continued, "So far, it seems just as you feared. Do you still want to go through with the plan?" "Yes, I do." Lex seemed a bit unsure. Okay. I'm with you, but stay cool. For heaven's sake, don't go too far. I'll only do what I have to." We went into the house. I unlocked and opened the front door, and Lex took out his digital camera, preparing to document what was about to unfold. He followed me to the master bedroom. There was no reaction from inside when I slowly opened the door, but I quickly switched on the light and rushed to the bed, dragging off the comforter. As expected, there were two people asleep there, my common-law wife Alina, and Samuel Albertson, her colleague. Alina began screaming when I confronted Albertson. I reacted instinctively, pushing him off the bed and demanding he leave. Lex snapped pictures as quickly as the camera allowed. In a heated moment, I told Alina that I didn't want any excuses or explanations. She needed to pack her things and leave. Overwhelmed with emotion, she sat down in a kitchen chair, crying loudly. After a while, she dressed, called a taxi, and left. Lex and I began packing Alina's clothes and personal belongings into cardboard boxes. The next morning, we loaded the boxes and her new TV into the van and took them to her parents' house. When we rang the bell, we piled the cardboard boxes and the TV against the house. Glancing at the windows, both Lex and I were sure we saw someone watching us from behind the curtains. Alina's driving license had been canceled for speeding, so we decided to leave her car in the garage. Back at the house, we changed all the locks before heading to Lex's hometown, where he had rented a Ford Transit. After a brief stop at his home, we went skiing for a week in the mountains, where our two friends were already waiting for us in a rented cabin. I'm Michael Hagan, a 32-year-old owner of a small but profitable factory that specializes in making patented high-quality steel clips sold in 14 countries. It was my uncle who invented the unique automatic machine that produces them. When he retired, he sold it to me at a fair price. Along with a single mother working part-time, we were the only employees. Once again, I found myself reflecting on a past relationship. I sent Alina a text suggesting we meet to share a few things when I returned from vacation. Lex, our two friends, and I had been lucky with horses, placing bets on the V75 every week. So far, we had seen a profit each year. The V75 is a popular weekly horse racing game where the goal is to pick the winners in 7 trotting races. Successfully choosing all 7 can yield impressive prizes, while lower payouts are awarded for fewer correct picks. Our group typically gambled amounts ranging from $200 to $250 a week, resulting in a system with 1,500 to 2,000 bets. If I could be regarded as lucky with horses, it was quite the opposite with girlfriends. Usually, it was easy for me to both get them and let them go. The girl before Alina was a real beauty, tall, slim, and naturally blonde. Unfortunately, she fit the stereotype of a dumb blonde. Many guys in town regarded me as a fool when I dumped her, but I found it impossible to be with someone who never did anything at home and spent all her earnings on clothes, hair, and makeup. Though I earned a decent living from my company and received some money from V75, I felt too financially constrained to afford an expensive trophy girlfriend. We parted without a quarrel, and she quickly found a wealthier guy who was happy with his new trophy girlfriend. Then I met Alina, who was quite different. She seemed like a dream girl during our first 4 years together. However, things changed when her company hired Albertson as their new accountant. Albertson was a clever and well-paid tax expert in our small town, living a comfortable life with a lovely wife and 2 small kids. He faced serious issues when his wife caught him cheating, but after some counseling, she forgave him with the condition that he would transfer their expensive house to her as her private property. Albertson kept his promises and was faithful for almost a year before being caught again, leading to his wife kicking him out and filing for divorce. After losing their house and dividing their assets, he moved back in with his mother. During his marriage, he had several discreet affairs, but after the divorce, he bought an expensive BMW. When Albertson showed off his new car, one of the members joked that the license plate, which began with AAA, could easily be interpreted as a reflection of his character. The name stuck, especially since he had caused a painful divorce for a nice couple at the club. His habit of using his wealth and charm to pursue other men's wives only added to his notoriety. Albertson didn't think highly of me, especially after I refused to support his bid for chairman of our marina club. When the old accountant at Alina's work retired and he was hired to replace him, I sensed he might try to make a move on her. Albertson wasted no time in modernizing their accounting system and often had lunches with Alina. At first, I had no reason to be concerned, but I soon noticed her growing interest in him. She started talking about his expensive tastes and how he bragged about his lifestyle. When she began dressing differently around that time, I decided it was time for a friendly conversation about her relationship with Albertson. I had reached my limit and decided to have a friendly conversation with Alina about Albertson's past behavior and the consequences it had for the women involved. I wanted her to understand the risks of becoming too enamored with him. Instead, she reacted angrily, accusing me of being a jealous nerd who saw threats where there were none, simply because I envied a successful man like Albertson. I tried to explain that Albertson's primary aim was to get back at me for what he perceived as humiliation at the Marina Club. I warned her that he was known for pursuing women, and that once he succeeded, she would likely be out of my life entirely. His interest was more about conquest than any genuine relationship. Before our annual boys' trip to a winter resort, I learned that Albertson had been bragging about his exploits after a hockey match. He claimed he would be spending nights with a friend's wife while her husband was away skiing. One of my friends heard about this and informed me, prompting me to make a plan to address the situation. Before our vacation, I secured my garage doors, ensuring Albertson had to park his BMW prominently on my driveway. I arranged to stay with a friend while waiting for updates about the situation. When the expected information arrived, I prepared to take action. My friends and I devised a plan that involved creating a flyer featuring an altered image of Albertson. I sent Alina a color picture of her and Albertson, along with a message expressing my feelings about their relationship. Afterward, I began to hear whispers behind my back, with rumors circulating about my situation with Albertson. My friends felt sorry for me and decided Albertson needed a lesson. They created a humorous leaflet that included a photo of him and a playful tagline, ensuring they took precautions while producing it. The leaflet drew significant attention and led to Albertson filing a police report against me. His lawyer pursued a case for defamation, while I countered with my own lawsuit. Alina and her father reached out to me with her in tears and him threatening consequences. Many in our circle, including friends and clients, accused me of being behind the leaflet, which I denied. A police officer contacted me about the situation, and I explained that I had received a copy but had no employees who would be interested in Albertson's services. After receiving yet another standard letter stating that no valid reason for my complaint was found, I couldn't help but think of Albertson, who had been loudly denouncing our legal system. Gossip suggested that he vowed to get even. So I hired a security company to monitor my properties. One of their night patrols caught a man throwing a stone at my window. He turned out to be one of Albertson's employees. Meanwhile, Annalena discovered she was pregnant and decided to keep the baby, likely hoping I would reconsider our relationship. I refused to sign any papers or make any financial commitments until a DNA test confirmed paternity. When authorities pressured me to accept responsibility, I pointed them toward Albertson, who had been involved with her after our split. As my rivalry with Albertson continued, my luck with women was less than ideal. At 32, finding single women my age in my small Scandinavian town was challenging. The downside of small-town life is that everyone knows everyone, making it difficult to date someone when you know her entire history. I tried online dating, but my first 3 dates were disasters. One woman, 38, used a photo that was at least a decade old. Another, who was married, insisted that her husband be allowed to watch if we were intimate, which didn't happen. The third date, a stunning 26-year-old redhead, had too many unresolved issues, particularly financial ones, which she expected me to help with. Then I met Na, who was great in many respects, except for her unusual dog, which had led to her previous boyfriend ending the relationship. I'd always gotten along with dogs, but this one was different, and despite my best efforts, we couldn't bond. Na refused to part with it, so we decided to go our separate ways. To my surprise, Albertson sent her a dog collar along with a message suggesting it would be useful now that she had 2 mad dogs. Not long after, Albertson's ex-wife, Catherine, called about the Marina Club's annual spring ball, asking if I could escort her. The Marina Club had a limited number of memberships, making it more exclusive than the local golf club. Catherine and I agreed to attend the ball together without any further intentions. My previous opposition to Albertson as chairman stemmed from his acceptance of bribes for memberships. The ball was a grand event, complete with photos in the local newspaper. One large photo of Catherine and me outside the ballroom stirred quite a bit of gossip, especially when Albertson found out whom I was with. Then, a new challenge emerged in the form of Erica Peterson, a stunning 28-year-old nurse who had recently returned to town after a divorce. I knew her brother from school, and we chatted pleasantly at the supermarket cafe. He jokingly suggested that Erica and I should date. I took the opportunity to propose a trip to the zoo park with her and her young son. She initially said she was busy that weekend, but agreed to meet on Wednesday evening to discuss our plans. I was looking forward to it, but everything changed when she revealed she had spent the previous weekend seeing a musical and dining at a top restaurant in the capital. When I asked who had accompanied her, she mentioned Samuel Albertson. Samuel Albertson had certainly gone to great lengths to impress Erica, securing sold-out tickets to a musical, likely at an exorbitant price on the black market. Meanwhile, my own plans felt like a modest alternative. I decided to focus on my own pursuits and not dwell on Albertson, replying that while I knew him well, I wouldn't call him a friend. Erica didn't press further, and I felt it wiser to keep my thoughts about him to myself. We talked excitedly about our upcoming trip. On Saturday morning, I met Erica and her son, Elliot, at her parents' house. During the drive to the zoo park, Elliot eagerly discussed the animals he hoped to see. At a cafe break, we found ourselves seated next to a family, with a boy the same age as Elliot, and they quickly became friends. When we entered the restaurant for lunch, the family we had met at the cafe waved us over to join them. The adults struck up a lively conversation while the boys played together. As we strolled through the park, Anna, the mother from the other family, mentioned how they lived in a small village without many children for her son to play with. She then invited Erica, Elliot, and me to visit for a weekend so the kids could have fun together. Erica's response caused some surprise. She explained that she and her husband had filed for divorce and were currently unable to do anything as a couple. Anna, laughing, commented that she thought Erica and I looked quite happy together and suggested that it might be a lovely weekend for us. I agreed, pleased at the prospect of spending more time with Erica and her son. On the drive back, we both felt positive about the family invitation. However, Erica soon revealed that Samuel had invited her to Manchester to see a football match and do some shopping, which she had accepted. I kept my thoughts to myself. Albertson was clearly trying to outshine me in this competition. A private flight and a luxurious hotel were hard to compete with, but I sensed that Erica was more comfortable with me and Elliot. We had also agreed to have dinner at my house when we returned to our hometown. I prepared most of the meal in advance, and as I cooked the final touches, Erica got Elliot ready for the evening. The dinner was intimate, featuring good wine, candlelight, and soft music. We discussed various topics, avoiding Albertson until Erica finally mentioned, "I hope you understand that intimacy is off the table until my divorce is finalized." Samuel and I had a disagreement about that during our last weekend together. I appreciated her honesty. "I understand completely. It's sweet that you mentioned wanting to be newlyweds to Anna. That means a lot to me." She smiled brightly. "There's something special about us," I replied. "You and Elliot are wonderful. I really like both of you. It's hard to believe your ex would mess things up with someone as great as you." "I'm glad to hear that," she said, "and Elliot likes you too, which makes me happy." "I'd be even happier if you liked me just as much," I replied, and she assured me that she did. After chatting about lighter topics, she asked about my split with Annalena. I caught her cheating, I confessed. "And as for forgiveness?" she asked. "No, it was too humiliating, especially after we had talked about weddings and plans for the future. Those places sound amazing. I would love to visit Hawaii and get married there," she said with a smile. "I would love to go to Hawaii and get married," I said, and she laughed, responding, "That's tempting, but I'm still married for now." During breakfast the next day, we decided to spend Sunday together at my house. It was a delightful day filled with laughter as we played with Elliot, enjoyed lunch, and took a long walk. However, the following week was different. Erica had a date with Albertson on Tuesday and was flying to Manchester with him on Saturday. So I was genuinely surprised when she rang my doorbell around 8 o'clock that Tuesday evening, visibly upset. I invited her in, and she sat at the kitchen table, clearly anxious. "I have some questions for you, and I want the truth. If you lie to me, it's over," she said firmly. "What's the matter?" "I've been honest with you," I replied. "Samuel claims you call him a-hole Albertson behind his back, and now others are using that name too. Is that true?" I sighed. "That name fits him perfectly. I wouldn't call it a nickname. Many of us use it openly in front of him." "But did he tell you why he thinks you call him that?" "He says it's because you envy and hate him." "I hate him, that's true, but I'll never envy him." "Did he send you here to complain about his nickname?" Erica hesitated before saying, "No, he begged me not to. But I was so angry and disappointed that I had to find out the truth tonight." "Do you really think you can win my love through such slander?" "I expected better from you, Erica. I've tried not to say anything negative about Albertson to you, but a clever woman like you would eventually see what he really is. If you have anything to say about Samuel, I want to hear it now." "No lies," she insisted. "Fine. There's no need for me to fabricate anything. The truth is bad enough. Albertson is indeed the best tax expert in town, but I have my reasons to despise him. My first conflict with him was when I blocked him from becoming chairman of the Marina Club. I knew he'd accepted bribes to let his friends bypass the membership waiting list. He vowed to get back at me for that. He's charming and handsome, and he's quite the womanizer with several divorces under his belt. He started courting my ex-common-law wife, Annalena, while he assisted her with a new accounting system. Despite my warnings, I couldn't monitor her at work. During a skiing trip, he took advantage of my absence and sought to seduce her, bragging to his friends about his conquests. When I returned, I found both of them in our bed. That was the end of my relationship with Annalena. Albertson didn't care about her at all after that. His nickname, A-hole Albertson, originated from his BMW license plate, which starts with AHA. A member at the golf club coined the name after he caused a tragic divorce for another couple. Looking her in the eye, I added, "I wouldn't be surprised if Albertson complained about me and his ex-wife Charlotte." It's true that we went to the Marina Club spring ball together, but it was completely innocent. She asked me to escort her since the event is for members and their spouses, and I don't have a spouse, nor is she a member, so it made practical sense. I took a deep breath and added, "There's one more serious thing to share about Annalena and Albertson. She's pregnant, and I suspect Albertson is the father. It will likely require a DNA test." Erica looked taken aback. "Did you tell me the truth?" "Yes, I've been honest with you. If you don't believe me, ask around town." "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" she pressed. "I wanted to win your love on my own terms. I chose to date you simply, giving us a chance to really get to know each other before moving forward. Albertson preferred a different approach, but it's up to you whom you want to be with, or if neither of us is right for you." After a pause, I continued, "Honestly, I had much more fun on our dates, and I'm looking forward to the family weekend with Anna and Anders." "Sounds like I'm not dumped yet," she replied, smiling. "Obviously not. I hope you didn't lie to me," she added. "I didn't. By the way, why did Albertson complain about his nickname?" "We had tea and shrimp sandwiches at a small restaurant when two couples entered. One of the women exclaimed loudly, 'There's a-hole Albertson, seducing some poor woman.' Erica told me that others laughed, but Albertson remained silent until they were seated across the restaurant. Then he accused me of creating his nickname and spreading lies." Erica left, but to my surprise, she returned to my house on Thursday. I asked many people about Albertson, even his ex-wife, and they all confirmed what you told me. He claimed the other guys wouldn't take a woman to the football match, so he canceled their date and sold her ticket to a friend. "Elliot will be with his dad this weekend," she said. "Can I stay with you?" Of course. I even offered a nice hotel, but she preferred a lazy weekend at home. After a romantic dinner on Friday, we ended up sharing some intimate moments. I felt an undeniable chemistry, but she whispered that she wanted to wait until her divorce was finalized. I recalled an old saying, "Everything is possible if you try hard enough." After a passionate kiss, I whispered, "I love you and dream of being your husband. It's only fair we have some practice before our wedding night to make it perfect." To my surprise, she whispered back, "I must agree to that." A few moments later, we were both in my bed, and the connection was incredible from the start. It felt like some of the best moments I'd ever had. Afterward, as we caught our breath, she said, "You must marry me. Promise me that." I proposed, and she accepted. I wondered about how easily I had won against Albertson, anticipating he would try to regain her attention eventually. I soon discovered that Albertson had given up because Annalena's ex had been promoted and wanted her back, likely hoping to laugh at my expense. Despite that, Erica, Elliot, and I had a lovely weekend with Anna, Anders, and their son Emil. Erica and I even managed some quick moments of intimacy while Elliot napped. The next week was challenging for me, as Erica was set to see her ex and discussed the possibility of reconciling for Elliot's sake. I kept a low profile and reminded her that the decision was hers. Albertson sent her a card wishing her and her husband good luck, but Erica returned it with a note suggesting he should find a more appropriate place for it. It seemed she was no longer fond of him, especially after he canceled their trip to England. Erica left early on Saturday morning, giving me a hug before she departed, likely for good. I sensed she wanted to save her marriage, and I couldn't blame her. We had agreed she wouldn't contact me until she returned, either to collect her belongings or to stay with me permanently. It turned into a long, sad day. My V75 friends showed up after lunch to watch the races on TV. Even though we won a fair amount, around $23,000, I couldn't muster any happiness. My friends noticed my distress. They had seen me through difficult relationships before, but they'd never seen me this wrecked, not even after my separation from Annalena. Lex finally said what we all knew. "You really love this woman with all your heart." I wasn't in the mood to celebrate, so we ordered Chinese food and stayed in. To my surprise, Erica returned around 10 o'clock that evening, sporting a black eye. After a long embrace, she shared that her ex had hit her after she had expressed her intentions to keep our wedding plans. Once my friends left, Erica recounted her meeting with her ex. He had taken her on a tour of his new office, boasting about all the perks, then showed her a large old house for sale in an upscale area overlooking the lake. Erica didn't like the neighborhood. There weren't any other kids for Elliot, and found the house too big and in need of maintenance. When she voiced her concerns, he suggested she could work part-time and help manage the upkeep. When Erica asked about the costs, he assured her it would be no burden, as he intended to keep it as a private investment. After the tour, he invited her to a lavish dinner at the best hotel in town, suggesting they rest in his room beforehand. Erica refused, claiming she had plans with a friend. Deep down, she realized she no longer loved him and had no interest in rekindling their relationship. During dinner, he asked if she had met someone new. Erica replied, "Yes, I have, and today I've realized he is my love. There's no way to repair our marriage. We've drifted too far apart. Let's part as friends and move forward in our lives." His response was far from agreeable. He had clearly been drinking and erupted into a tirade, calling her names. When she tried to leave, he followed her to the parking lot and hit her, but fortunately, a bystander intervened. Afterward, Erica, Elliot, and I built a happy family life together. Her ex must have regretted his behavior because he offered her a fair divorce settlement and even suggested I adopt Elliot. We all agreed that it was best for Erica and Elliot to live with me. Life settled into a comfortable routine. Albertson didn't bother us, especially after he started dating a charming lawyer. However, my peace was disrupted when rumors circulated that Albertson's paternity test revealed he wasn't the father of Annalina's baby. The social services later discovered she had been involved with a married coworker whose wife had left him with their children. To my surprise, Albertson's lawyer girlfriend invited me to lunch. After some polite conversation, she got straight to the point. She had canceled Albertson's case against me and wanted to know if I would drop mine against him. I agreed, not expecting us to become friends, but I appreciated her desire for us to act like adults and move on from our petty vendetta. "I've gotten my revenge," I said. After all, I won the competition for Erica's heart. She smiled, asking, "Do you envy Samuel and want to change Erica for me?" With a smile, I replied, "I admire you, but no thanks. I really love Erica." She promised me that Albertson would keep his mouth shut about Annalina's baby. I had to agree with her that, in some strange way, he had done me a favor when Annalina's earlier cheating came to my attention. We parted with a hug, and it was a great benefit for all of us to have put a stop to the vendetta between Albertson and me. During a vacation at the Spanish island of Gran Canaria, we were joined by our very good friends, the Spin family, whom we met during our first visit to the zoo. Erica and I married at the Scandinavian church in Street Augustine. After a number of setbacks, I had finally found a loving wife. Thanks to everyone who took the time to listen to today's stories. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share your thoughts on the events in the comments below. Take care.